Hello everyone, Tina here. I hope your day's going wonderful. Thank you so much for joining me. Today I get to share a project with you for Cardmaking Posh, and we're using the adorable Mouse Friends stamp set. And I'm sorry about the glare from the ceiling fan, but I love the cute little mice in here, and especially love the little cheese. I thought we'd pair cheese with pumpkin today, and we're going to be using the Pretty Pink Posh. I have it upside down, but this is the Fall Borders stamp set. This is what I noticed. I mentioned when I shared the entire release that I love the pumpkin border, so we're going to be using this. But what I love is that you can actually mask off one of the pumpkins because of the way the pumpkin is layered. So we're going to do that. We're going to do a little bit of masking and coloring for our card today. So with that being said, let's jump in and do some stamping. Since this is a border stamp, I'm going to bring in my stamping positioner. Okay, I have some white cardstock, and I also have some Gina K Masking Magic. We're going to start by adhering my card. Let's see if this will fit my entire pumpkin, and it will. So I'm going to add my cardstock, and then I'm going to take my masking paper, and I'm going to scoot it over so I'm going to line it up. I guess edge to edge will work out perfectly. I just want a little bit of extra room over here. I'm going to trim a little bit of my masking paper. Here we go. I'm making sure that I have a little extra room for when I stamp, because this is going to give me a guide to where to put the masking paper. Okay, now I'm going to ink up my pumpkins. We're going to first stamp on our masking paper. And again, we're overlapping on the white cardstock. You'll see what I mean when I lift up. Like here. Here's my cardstock that we're going to be stamping on, but we also stamped on our masking paper. Now I just want the first 5 pumpkins, and so basically we just need the mask here. Now you could save this and use this as a mask, but I'm just looking at this end here. I need that gap because when I'm going to use this as a border, but I don't want the lines of this pumpkin here to be on my image. When I use the coordinating die, at least. We're just shortening our border, that's all we're doing. Let's remove our release paper here. Now, since we stamped on this end, we can just continue our pumpkin pattern. Okay, you see how it's continued? Let me zoom in. You see how it's continued over here? So we have our mask is right in between blank, mask, and then our stamped pumpkin. Now we're going to take our same Memento ink. I'm using Memento ink because we're going to color with Copic markers. So, and then we can stamp right over that mask. Wonderful. Then I can remove the release paper. And you see we have no extra image on this side. And then this way, when we use the coordinating die, I can just cut around it. It's going to make it a lot easier. Now, while we have our stamping positioner out, let's stamp our little mouse too. Let's clean off our stamp. And our mouse, I think the one sitting down is adorable. So that's the one we're gonna use. And again, this mouse set is called Mouse Friends. Mice are super easy to color in, just using some gray markers. Okay, I'm going to zoom in. I'll play a little bit. I'm going to zoom in a little bit more. I'm going to play a little bit of music while I color, and then when I'm actually, let's trim this off. And then when I'm done coloring, I will catch you back. Okay, my little mouse and cheese and my oh, you know what? I forgot the stems of my pumpkins. Let's color those in real fast. Now, I did go outside the line over here. I'm going to use my white gel pen and just clean that up a little bit. Now we're going to take the coordinating die and die cut out our images. Now I lined up, let's move back out here. We're going to die cut out these images, and then while I'm die cutting, I'm going to bring in the Pretty Pink Posh Stitch Duo 3 die set. I love the window frame that this creates, but I'd also love the archway that it creates. So I'm just going to use the arch, not the window panes, and I'm going to cut this out. When I cut this out, usually I like to center it, because even though we're going to use the stitched part of this, later on if I want to create a card, a window card, I can use the outside edge too. So let's tape this down and run this through our die cut machine along with everything else, and I will be right back. Okay, we have our border that is not continuous, but that's okay. I think this is going to go perfect along our archway. And then we have our little mouse and our little piece of cheese. Now all we have to do to shorten this is use scissors and just go follow along that pumpkin. Now had I not did that, you'd be able to see the lines that continue from the pumpkin, and I just didn't want to see that. I thought we would get rid of those lines. You could have used a white gel pen, I guess, to cover up those lines, but I think it's just cleaner looking. Now for the back of my window, we're going to add some clouds. So to do that, we're just going to use some ink here, and I'm going to bring in the Pretty Pink Posh Layered Cloud Stencil. I'm going to line this up in the corner, and I already have pixie spray behind here. And I'm going to bring in my tumbled glass, and we're going to just go over this real fast. And just using my same ink, I'll remove this stencil, add the second layer from the corner here. And I'll add some more, but this time I'm going to go a little bit, oops, you don't want your stencil to shift. Okay, tack that down. Now I'm going to add this over the top. A little bit lighter. Then we'll have some light areas and some dark areas. And we have some nice fluffy clouds in our background. I'm going to go ahead and take my pumpkins. We're going to add a strip of foam adhesive behind here. And this is going to go on the bottom, but we need to stamp our sentiment. So this is going to be a everyday card. I'm going to stamp my sentiment. This is just a little note. And I'm going to stamp it over here. We're going to flip over our mouse and add some foam squares. So this little guy's ready to go. And I want him holding some cheese. So we need to put a small foam square behind here too. I'm going to remove the release paper off of my pumpkins. We can layer this on the bottom. I think that looks wonderful. Let's flip this around. I'm going to add some foam adhesive behind this back panel. Before I remove the release paper off of our dome, our background, I'm going to bring in a piece of yellow cardstock. This is a card front panel, and then this is my top folding card base. It's a standard A2 size card base. And so I thought it'd be fun to do something. We have pumpkins in there for fall, but I thought mice and cheese just go good together. So I'm going to create, we have a little cheese here. I thought we'd create a cheesy background. So to do that, I'm going to bring in a little bit more color. I'm going to use some spiced marmalade. And I'm going to add some color to the bottom. And then we'll kind of fade up. Wonderful. You don't need too much ink when you do this. We'll make sure this dries a little bit. And now I want to do something even more playful. I'm going to show you. I have some punches. I keep these in my stash because I use them to create my little swatches. I use a 1-inch punch. And then I use the 1/2-inch punch on the inside to create that the donut here. And then this one I also use for swatching too. Swatching out my colors. So these make the perfect cheesy background. So I'm going to go ahead and punch some holes. Like so. And then I'll take the smaller one. I don't know if I'll use, this is a 3/8 of an inch circle, but I don't know if I'll use them. These work perfect around the edges. They don't go very far towards the middle, but that makes it good because we have our dome that's going to go in the middle. I think I am going to use this. Just a couple extra slices. Just select little extra cheesies. Oops, it locked on me. Okay, I think maybe one up here. I think that looks pretty close to cheese. And then we're going to take our tape runner and adhere this to the front of our card base. Wonderful. And then I'm going to remove the release paper off of our dome, our window. And then this is going to go in the middle. I think that is super cute. Now we have a little bit of open area, and I thought we would finish it off with, since we have a lot going in our background, we're going to bring in some sparkling clear sequins. We have a lot of color differences, so I don't want to add any color sequins. I like to just go neutral. So let's place these where we want them first. Okay. I think they look so cute. I am going to take my white gel pen and go over the cheese a little bit. I don't know if you can tell, but right in those circles I colored in a little too much with my markers. And that will finish my card today. Kind of a cheesy card, pun intended. Have a wonderful day. Thanks for joining me, and we will see you again real soon.